why is it that every time you get in an argument, no one seems to change their mind? Now, it sometimes happens, but it's pretty rare, and I think the reason for that is because often we're starting from different premises. We're starting with different assumptions. And we might even use the same words like truth, like justice, like charity, like identity, but we mean different things when we use them. And yet in most of our conversations, no one addresses the underlying assumptions. No one addresses the premises. Instead, they address what's above them. They address the surface level contentions that the other party is making. And while those surface level contentions generally are more practical, more concrete, they are not the fundamental things we're disagreeing about. And so in order to have profitable conversations, what often needs to happen is you need to address underlying premises, underlying conclusions, underlying assumptions. You see, Alasdair MacIntyre, in his book After Virtue, talks about this when he is explaining why people disagree so much about morality. He says, every one of the arguments is logically valid or can be easily expanded so as to be made so. The conclusions do indeed follow from the premises, but the rival premises are such that we possess no rational way of weighing the claims as one against the other. And that's a serious problem, and it's also why it's really important to understand what we mean when we use words like justice and goodness. And one of the best ways to do that is to read great books, to read great thinkers, to read philosophers, and also to be open to these fundamental discussions about what justice really is, what it really means, what goodness is, and what it means. I think when we begin looking under the surface and seeing what the real, true problems are, there will be more clarity. And even if that clarity results in something like, well, that's just not something that I believe. I just don't believe your underlying premise, your underlying assumption. Well, that's fine, but at least we know that. And that sort of intellectual clarity and honesty is something that the intellectual life seeks to get at, and that overflows into other parts of life. And those are the sorts of small things, the sorts of little steps that really make up the virtuous life. And I hope that's something that we can all become better at and learn more about. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, and what justice and goodness and virtue really are, then I would suggest following along and joining me in this journey, this intellectual life, this Renaissance project.